Most people see the undisputed titles, the custom designer ring walk outfits, and the relentless bomb energy that has flattened the world's best. But they don't see the woman cruising through Detroit, commanding a multi-million-dollar empire that's redefining the sport in real time. And just like the city she now calls home, Alycia Baumgardner's rise wasn't built on luck. It was built on a deliberate refusal to be ignored. We're stepping into a $2.9 million world where the pretty girl narrative goes to die and a global mogul is born. This isn't just about the belts. This is about a woman who took the industry by the throat and forced it to watch her climb. Because in the modern era, being the best isn't enough. You have to be undeniable. And that climb? It began long before the lights of the MGM Grand, in the quiet, hardworking corners of Fremont, Ohio. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Now let's dive into Alycia's world of beauty and knockout power. Born May 24th, 1994, in Fremont, Ohio, her path to superstardom wasn't scripted by a family dynasty. It was forged in sheer grit, discipline, and a relentless refusal to be underestimated. With a heritage spanning African-American, German, Japanese, and Korean roots, she learned early how to balance intensity with precision. By age 8, she was already lacing up gloves, outpacing the boys on the track, and out-hitting them in the gym. Long before the world saw the knockouts, she built her foundation through an elite amateur career, representing Team USA and compiling a staggering record of 165 wins against just 15 losses. She wasn't just hype. She was technically elite, a Golden Glove champion who understood the first-in, last-out mentality that remains the bedrock of her career today. Yet, despite being a dominant force on the domestic circuit, the Olympic dream remained elusive. She never qualified for the Games. Instead of breaking her, that setback became the fuel for her professional fire. On March 4th, 2017, she made her pro debut with a statement knockout victory over Britain Hart. But her path to the top wasn't a straight line of perfection. Early in her career, she suffered a stinging loss to Christina Leonard, a moment that could have shattered a lesser fighter's momentum. Instead, it sharpened her. It forced her to evolve, to think differently, and to realize that at the highest level, talent isn't enough. You need a system. From that point on, Alycia Baumgardner didn't just chase titles, she chased dominance. She didn't just knock out opponents, she knocked out every stereotype in her path. Her move to Detroit marked the real beginning of the bomb era, a symbolic transition from the quiet suburbs to the industrial heartbeat of America. This is where the world finally saw her signature style. She isn't a volume puncher, she's a calculated sniper. Alycia operates with a terrifying patience under pressure, utilizing elite counterpunch timing and an explosive right hand that earned her the bomb identity. In November 2021, she entered Sheffield, England, as a massive underdog against reigning champion Terry Harper. The British crowd expected a coronation, and for 3 rounds, it looked like they might get it as Harper tried to outbox the American visitor. But Alycia was studying, calculating, waiting. In the 4th round, Harper made the one mistake Alycia was looking for. One opening, one counter right hand. The punch didn't just knock Harper down, it froze her in time. The fight was over before the crowd even understood what happened. That heist was followed by a 2022 masterclass against her rival Mikaela Mayer in London. And by February 2023, she reached the ultimate summit, defeating Ella Meckel to unify all major belts: WBC, WBO, IBF, IBO, and the ring. In a sport where politics and ego usually keep belts separated, holding every title at once is almost impossible. By becoming the undisputed super featherweight champion, Alycia didn't just win a fight, she achieved legendary status. And now, with the division cleared and the belt around her waist, the only question is, who's left to stop her? But being undisputed didn't mean she was untouched by the politics of the game. But as she reached the summit, the very foundation of her empire was threatened by the shadow of controversy. In 2023, an adverse analytical finding in a drug test nearly silenced her career before it reached its peak. For a woman who built her brand on pure, unadulterated performance, and hard work. The accusation was a thermal detonator that threatened to vaporize her reputation. Most fighters would have gone quiet or accepted a plea. Alycia went on the offensive. She spent $500,000 of her own money on independent testing, world-class legal fees, and scientific experts to clear her name, treating the legal battle with the same tactical aggression she uses in the ring. She waged a war of paperwork and truth until the WBC officially cleared her, citing that the levels found were not consistent with intentional doping. She proved her power wasn't in a pill, it was in her DNA, and the victory in the courtroom was arguably as significant as any win on her record. She returned to the ring not as a victim, but as a vindicated queen, dismantling rivals like Christina Leonard, avenging her only loss, and proving that the bomb still had all its explosive force, unaffected by the noise. Her vindication in court was the final green light to start spending like the queen she had become. This resilience has fueled a lifestyle that balances the raw horsepower of the ring with the elegance of a high-fashion mogul. As of 2026, her $2.9 million net worth is visible in the streets of Detroit and the high-stakes world of global promotion. This empire reached a new gear in March 2025 when Alycia officially signed with Jake Paul's most valuable promotions. Joining MVP wasn't just a management change. It was a strategic alliance that established her as a flagship fighter for the world's most disruptive boxing platform. Her lifestyle is a sophisticated balance of champion's grit and elite glamour, designed to showcase that a woman can command both respect and envy. She resides in a modern Detroit mansion, a property that reflects her rise from a crowded house in Ohio to global stardom. The home is an architectural blend of industrial Detroit vibes and high-end luxury, featuring expansive glass walls and minimalist aesthetics, serving as a private gallery for her many world titles and an extensive designer wardrobe that rivals the collections of top-tier models. In Alycia's world, if it doesn't have a high price tag and a high top speed, it doesn't belong in the driveway. When the engines start, the horsepower side of her brand takes center stage. Might see her commanding a Chevrolet Camaro SS, a classic American muscle car that captures her raw bomb energy with its guttural roar and iconic silhouette. For moments that require a mix of performance and presence, she turns to a Dodge Charger SRT, a vehicle known for its take-no-prisoners attitude. But her real, undisputed status is found in her elite SUVs, which offer a commanding view of the road she conquered. She's often seen arriving at promotions in a custom Lamborghini Urus, a $250,000 super SUV that screams speed and dominance, blurring the line between a family vehicle and a track monster. When she wants to project the ultimate queen of Detroit, authority, she rolls in a matte black Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, a vehicle built to withstand any terrain while looking untouchable. And for high-profile travel, she steps into the prestige of a Cadillac Escalade, the ultimate symbol of a champion who has arrived and intends to stay. But while her cars scream for attention, her personal life remains a locked vault. Yet, despite this outward display of wealth and fame, the woman known as the Bomb remains a fortress of privacy, maintaining a calculated distance from the public eye. In an industry that thrives on tabloid gossip and personal vulnerability, Alycia has remained untouchable, famously stating she is married to the game. This singular focus has created a monk-like existence where her only true commitments are to her craft and her brand. What the cameras miss is the daily grind, the high-intensity track workouts at dawn, and the technical sparring sessions where she hones the sniper-like precision that makes her a pound-for-pound elite. She doesn't just enter the arena. She brings an atmosphere that smothers her competition. What truly makes her different is the Baumgardner aura, a psychological weight that her opponents feel the moment they enter her presence. She fights with a dominance that starts during the weigh-ins and carries through the final bell, using her poise and confidence to rattle her competition. At 31, she is already eyeing the $5 million horizon, realizing that the prime of a fighter is fleeting, but the prime of a mogul is eternal. She isn't just planning for her next fight. She's planning for her next decade, diversify her interests to ensure she never has to rely on the ring for her worth. With her sights set on high-level commentary, entertainment, and the expansion of her personal fashion line, Alycia is building a machine that will continue to generate wealth and influence long after the gloves are hung up. She isn't just a part of the history of women's boxing. She is the architect of its future. She has joined the ranks of Claressa Shields and Katie Taylor not just by winning fights, but by changing the definition of what a female champion looks like in the 21st century. As the final chapters of her fighting career are written, the legacy of Alycia Baumgardner is clear. She didn't just break into the sport. She forced the world to change its definition of greatness. She didn't just win the belts. She built an empire from the ground up, fueled by a mixture of Ohio grit and Detroit steel. And in the world of the bomb, the explosion is only just beginning, promising a fallout that will be felt for generations to come. Alycia Baumgardner didn't just win fights. She detonated an empire, and the world is still feeling the shockwave. Before you go, don't miss out on exclusive perks. Click the link in the description to become a channel member. You'll get to suggest future video topics and get early access to our content 48 hours before anyone else. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fame and horsepower of Laila Ali, hit that like button, drop a comment, and check out our video on Claressa Shields. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.